something strange is happening across America. The people who once rushed into cities for opportunity are quietly leaving them behind. They are not leaving because they lost their jobs. In cases, the people who are leaving are actually earning more money than they ever have before. So why are people who work from home packing up and moving out of the cities? This is happening because a big change is taking place with money that could affect the price of houses, the economy in areas, and even the amount of money people get in their paychecks. By the time you finish watching this video, you will understand why the next big financial problem in America may not start on Wall Street. It could actually start on your street. For a time, everyone thought that big cities were the future. Now that idea is starting to fall. The people who are leaving the cities are workers. Remote workers are packing up, moving out of the big cities. This change is affecting the price of houses and the economy in areas, and it is even affecting the amount of money that people get in their paychecks, the remote workers' paychecks. Think about someone earning $120,000 a year while working from home. A few years ago, they rented a small apartment in San Francisco or New York because that's where the jobs were. Today, that same person can log in from a quiet town hundreds of miles away. At first, it sounds like a dream. Lower housing costs, less traffic, more space. But beneath that lifestyle upgrade is a much bigger economic story. Cities built their budgets around people showing up every day. Workers bought coffee. They ate lunch downtown. They paid high rents. They filled office towers. Now many of those buildings sit partially empty. And when enough people leave, the effects spread far beyond real estate. This isn't just about where people live. It's about what happens when an entire economic system loses its daily customers. Chapter 1. The Great Remote Shift. When remote work became a thing, lots of people thought things would go back to normal in a couple of years. For some industries, that's what happened. Millions of jobs can still be done from almost anywhere as long as you have a good internet connection. That changes a lot. Of picking a city because of where the office is, people started choosing based on what's important to them, like lifestyle and affordability. A family paying a lot each month for an apartment suddenly realized they could buy a bigger home somewhere else for a similar monthly cost. Others just wanted some space, less stress. Here's where things get interesting. When high-income workers move away, they don't just take their stuff. They take their spending habits too. Restaurants lose customers, small businesses make sales, public transportation systems get less money, and commercial landlords struggle to fill offices. One decision leads to another and another and another. Eventually, the whole local economy starts to change. People are making choices now. They're thinking about what's really important to them. That's having a big impact on local economies. It's not about where people live, it's about how they live. Chapter 2. The Hidden Cost of Empty Offices. Most people think the biggest problem is office buildings. That is part of the story. Office buildings support thousands of businesses like cleaning companies and maintenance crews and security staff and food vendors and retail shops and taxi drivers and hotels. When office occupancy falls, demand for all of those services can fall too. Some downtown districts are already reinventing themselves. Others are still searching for answers. Meanwhile, cities face choices. Should they raise taxes or cut services or find new ways to attract businesses and residents like office buildings and people who work in office buildings? There are no answers to the problem of empty office buildings. That is why economists continue watching the trend of empty office buildings so closely, because local budgets often depend on commercial activity from office buildings and other businesses. When that weakens, financial pressure can build slowly before becoming obvious on the cities and the people who live in those cities and work in office buildings. Chapter 3. Why smaller cities are winning. Here is the twist that few people expected. Many smaller cities are not just gaining residents, they are competing for residents. Communities across America are investing in things like broadband and parks and housing and business incentives. Why are they doing this? Because every remote worker who moves and brings an income without requiring an employer to relocate. This is a different way for cities to grow, of trying to get big companies to move in some towns or trying to attract individuals. These individuals spend their money in the local community. They buy homes in these cities. They support businesses. They pay taxes. They enroll their children in the schools. One remote worker is not going to change a town. Thousands of them can. This is creating a map of economic opportunity across the country. Here is where people need to be careful. Not every city that is growing is going to keep growing. If home prices go up faster than local wages, it can become too expensive for people to live live there again. We have seen this happen before. When cities grow quickly, they often face challenges. The cities that are doing well today still have to plan for tomorrow. Remote workers are still moving to these cities. They are still spending money locally. Remote workers are changing the way these cities grow, and remote workers are creating opportunities for economic growth. Is this the American financial crisis? Not necessarily in the way people imagine. This is not one big collapse happening overnight. It is about changes that can change where money is made, where businesses put their money, and how communities grow. The biggest thing to learn is not leave the city. It is about understanding that being flexible is a thing for your money. People who take the time to compare the cost of houses, taxes, job security, quality of life, and chances for long-term success may be off than those who think the old rules still apply. The American economy has changed before. It will change again. The question is not if working from home will affect the future. It is about how ready you will be when the next big change happens. If thinking about this made you wonder where the good opportunities are going, then you should think about this too. Which American cities are actually getting richer and which ones are falling behind without anyone noticing? That is what we will talk about in the video.